everyone. When you talk about comfort food in a Chinese household, one of the popular dishes that a lot of Chinese families make that's really popular with the kids is what my mom used to call jupa bang. And what that basically means is it's a pork hash. All you do is you have some ground pork and you add a few nice ingredients to sort of make it a little tasty, and then you just steam it and then you just serve it with rice. It's really simple, really easy, and a great convenient dish to make for a lot of families on the go. So today I'm going to demonstrate the really basic steps to making it. We're going to start with the ingredients. So I have about a pound of ground pork, and then I kind of chop it to make it a little bit more minced, because sometimes depending on where you get it, they might not ground it as well. Okay, that looks about good. So we have our ground pork, and then other things that will be going in. This is about a half a can of water chestnut. You can buy, I just get the water chestnuts in the can, and the small can is fine. And this is about a half a can that I've diced the water chestnut. This gives a lot of nice texture to your pork hash when you cook it. And I would say this is probably about half a cup after it's all diced. Another thing is I'm going to add this, which is fermented turnip. It's something you'll get at the Asian grocery stores. This is the package it came in. And just look for something that says preserved turnip or fermented turnip. It'll give a nice sort of unique flavor to the dish. My sister actually gave me that bag, and it doesn't come looking like that with all ground up. She actually put that through the food processor and pulsed it a little bit, so that's why it looks a little bit all chopped up. And then to top it off, I'm gonna add this salted fish to the top of the pork hash, and it'll give a nice salty flavor. You can buy a whole salted fish in Chinatown, and this is just a piece of it. What I do is I get the whole fish. It's hanging in plastic bags and those Chinatown stores, and then I just chop it into pieces, and the ones that I don't use, I just throw it into the freezer, and I'll keep for when I'm ready to use it. So this is really salty, and it's really actually popular with kids. So you just need a little bit, and then it'll go a long way. Alright, so I got my 1 pound of ground pork that I pretty much minced up so that it's nice and fine. Not too much, but just to what you think will be good. It's kind of like making a meatball, basically. I'm making pork because that's the most traditional, but if you want, you could try turkey. That's probably healthier for you, but I think pork is just fine. I got the lean one too. So I have here the half a cup of diced water chestnuts. This will add a nice sort of crunch and texture to it. And then we have the fermented turnip. So this is about a tablespoon. We're gonna add some soy sauce, about a tablespoon. And then just some sesame oil, a bit less than half a tablespoon. For additional flavor, we're going to add a little bit of chicken bouillon powder. This is used a lot. My mom uses a lot for adding flavor. Some people think it's almost like MSG, but this is just like pretty much dehydrated chicken stock. So about a teaspoon of that goes in. And then to sort of help bind everything, my mom says to put some cornstarch. So I'm going to put just like about 1 teaspoon of cornstarch. So I'm going to mix that all up. Basically, we're just going to put this onto a plate and then put it in a steamer. I don't want this to be too dry. I'm going to add a little bit of water. So I would say like a 1/4 cup. And then here's the plate that I'm going to steam it in. I'm just going to put everything in and then flatten it out so that it can turn into like basically a pork hash cake. here's my nice little pork hash cake, ready to steam. Here's the salted fish that I had. I chopped it into smaller pieces. This is called ham yu, which basically just means salt fish. And then, you know, the salted fish has the skin and some of the bones still there. That's why I just kind of sprinkle it on the top so that it's not, you don't want to bury the bones inside the fish, inside the pork hash, because you don't want to like surprise someone with something crunchy like that. So when you have it just on the top, people can kind of grab the pieces, and then if they have the one with the bone, then they'll be a little extra careful. So I just kind of press it in, and it's just kind of over the main areas. And okay, so as you can see, I've got my pot of boiling water. I've had it, after I got it boiling, I turned it down to a medium heat. So you can use a wok or a big pot like I have. It's great to buy these little stands that you can find in the sort of kitchen stores. This will act as sort of to hold your plate. So I just put that in with the water, and then I just throw in my, well, not throw in, but you put in the plate of pork hash. So it sits there. I'm going to cover it, and basically we're going to steam it until it's done. It should take about 25 minutes. A lot depends on how thick, you know, your pork hash is. Mine is kind of on the thick side, so I'm going to guess 25 minutes. So we're going to steam it about 20 minutes. I'm just sort of checking in on my pork hash. It looks pretty done. You can see that a lot of the sort of fat or the liquid kind of bubbles up to the top. My mom says what you can do is sort of tilt the plate to get some of the excess water out. I don't want to hurt myself, so I'm not going to do that. But if you have one of those ladle holders that can pick up the plate on its edge, then that'll be good. So what I'm going to do is sort of test to make sure that it's cooked. If you kind of press down on it, and you can kind of peek inside, if there's any kind of pinkish area, then you know that it's not done yet. We look pretty ready to eat. By the way, I call this Jupa bang, which actually I just realized I'm calling a pork chop cake, and that's not right. It's actually Juyok bang, which just means pork cake. So there you have it. It's almost done. Alright, so I dished my pork hash or pork cake or Juyok bang out of the steamer, and so here it is, the end result. It's not really pretty because, you know, it's just a comfort food, very rustic. And like I said, you let some of the water drain out, so I just kind of tipped it over its edge when it was still in the pot to kind of get some of the water out before I took it out. It's a little tricky fishing it out, so if you have one of those sort of hand stuff that you get at those gourmet places, that'll be great. But I got it out, so now we're going to try it. And the best thing about eating this dish is to just eat it simply over rice. So I'm just going to put a spoonful. I like to eat brown rice, and then just dig in. You get the aroma of the salted fish, the crunch of the water chestnut. Really simple to make. Sometimes it can be a little bit too hard if you cook it too long, so you want to make sure you watch it and don't cook it too long. But sometimes when it's hard like this, I think it's easier to eat with it. Enjoy!